All right, so here we go. Objective, Unit 3, Objective 6B. We're going to continue with long division. And let's see what's the difference between 6A and 6B. Well, in 6A, we learn how to do long division to figure out if a factor really is a factor of the dividend of the polynomial or not. So we were learning about division and how to figure out if there's a factor or not. Here, the difference is I will tell you it is a factor. Okay, so look at this. A polynomial f of x is given to us, and a factor of f of x is given. So I'm already giving you the factor. I'm not asking you, is this a factor? Okay, so if I'm giving you a factor, there should be no remainder. Let me write over here. Is a factor. Since I'm giving you a factor, you should have no remainder. Okay, just like the number 2 is a factor of 6. So if I divide 6 by 2, I get a 3. There's no remainder. Okay? All right, so since we are giving you a factor, we know it works. We want you to then go ahead and factor completely. All right? So I want you to factor completely. And that's the next step we're going to take here a little higher. All right, we're going to do the same exact thing we did with long division in the prior objective 6A. So I'm going to go ahead and write it on a bigger paper because I write big here. Here we go. F of x is x cubed minus 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. I have all powers there, so I don't have to use a placeholder. And the binomial x minus 4, my divisor, is given to me as a factor. So I know it will work, so I'm going to do a little ledge for my binomial x minus 4. Here's my division bar. Oops, I always forget to close it right there. Okay, my division box, not bar. Okay, let's go ahead and put our x cubed minus 2x squared minus 11x plus 12, our constant in the back. Cool. Let's go ahead and set up our subtraction. I have a binomial, so I'm going to be subtracting from binomials. Okay, 2 terms has to be subtracted from 2 terms. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up our subtraction here. All right, let's focus on the first term. So what times x gives me x cubed? It would be an x squared. X squared times an x is x cubed. X squared times a negative 4 is negative 4x squared. Remember to distribute the negative to here and to both terms. So it's going to become a negative x cubed and a positive 4x squared. So x cubed plus a negative x cubed is 0. I eliminated the first term. A negative 2x squared plus a positive 4x squared is a positive 2x squared. We're going to drop down, bring down the next term, minus 11x. We only want to be able to bring 2. Let's set up our subtraction so we don't forget to distribute that subtraction. Focus on the first term only. What value times x will equal 2x squared? That has to be a positive 2x. Notice that it matches. Okay, if you try to put something that doesn't match, it's not going to work. Okay, so 2x times an x is 2x squared. 2x times the negative 4, positive times negative, is negative 8x. It's okay. We only care about making the first term be the same. Once we distribute the negative, this is going to become negative 2x squared. This is going to become positive 8x. So we are adding a negative and a positive. Okay, so 2x squared plus a negative 2x squared is 0. We're done eliminating the first term. Negative 11x plus positive 8x is a negative 3x. Okay, the negative is bigger, and I have positive 8, so it's negative 3x. Let's drop down our last value, which is the constant, positive 2. So focus on the first term. Oops, let's set up our subtraction. There we go. Focus on negative 3x. What value times x will equal negative 3x? Well, that has to be a negative 3. Perfect. So negative 3 times an x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times a negative 4. Negative times negative is positive 12. That's beautiful. They're exactly the same. We should get exactly the same. When you distribute the negative, we're going to get 0. Okay? So it is. We know it is a factor. We weren't asking you that. We gave you. We're asking you to factor completely. So I'm going to go ahead and write down my factors. You should have all that work written down here. I'm going to write down my factor. So I'm going to write down, let me separate this paper right here so I can put my work. After you have done your work, I'm going to write my x minus 4 is one of the factors, x minus 4, times my quotient, right here. I'm going to put x squared plus 2x minus a 3. That's my quotient that I got from my division. Okay? So it's asking me to factor f of x completely. This is one of the factors that was given, and then I end up with the quotient of x squared plus 2x minus 3. I can factor that one more time, okay? Because I have a trinomial. So I can factor one more time. I have my x minus 4, and I'm going to factor that one more time. Well, I know that x times x will equal x squared. What are the values that multiply that equals negative 3? It has to be a positive 3 and a negative 1. It has to be 3 times 1 for sure. 3 times 1. 3 times 1, but one of them is going to have to be negative, one of them is going to have to be positive, such that when I add them together, it gives me a positive 2. So that would have to be a positive 3 with a negative 1. When I add a positive 3 with a negative 1, it'll give me positive 2x. So there we go. I factored completely. Remember, we've been practicing factoring for a long time, so it shouldn't be new to you. And there we go. I did exactly what they were asking me. A polynomial of x and a factor is given. Factor completely. There we go. Okay? All right, let's do it one more time. One wasn't enough. Let's do one more example to understand from beginning to end what is it that wants me to do. It wants me to keep on breaking down this polynomial all the way factored completely. Okay? All right, so let's write it down here. Make sure my paper is where you can see. All right, here we go. The ledge for my binomial x plus 4. Oops, that was a little crooked. It's okay. I'm going to make it work. There we go. All right, I have a cubic, squared, first power, constant. All powers are there, no tricks. So x cubed minus x squared minus 14x plus 24. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster this time because this is not new. If you're still confused, go back to my video Objective 6a and watch it again. Okay, so I'm going to subtract from two terms. I'm going to focus on my first. X times x squared. X squared times x gives x cubed. X squared times a 4 is a positive 4x squared. I'm going to distribute my negative. This is going to become negative, and this is going to become negative. So I'm adding two negatives. X cubed plus a negative x cubed is 0. Negative x squared plus a negative 4x squared, that's negative 5x squared. Let's bring down negative 14x. Okay. So let me focus on only these two terms right here. So negative 5x will work. So negative 5x. Negative 5x times an x is negative 5x squared. Negative 5x times a positive 4 is negative 20x. There we go. All right, distribute the negative. If you don't distribute, things are going to become complicated. Okay, distribute the negative. This is going to become plus. This is also going to become a plus 20. Plus 5 plus 20. That works perfect because I'll be adding a negative 5x squared plus a positive 5x squared. They're gone. They're opposites. Negative 14x plus positive 20x is a positive 6x. Drop down the 24, the positive 24. We're going to be subtracting. Hopefully we're going to make exactly the same. We know we did it right. So what times x equals 6x? That'll be a positive 6. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times a positive 4 is positive 24. You know it's exactly the same. You know it's 6x plus 24 minus 6x plus 24, so therefore is a 0. Okay? So we know you should have gotten a 0 because we know it's a factor. I'm going to continue here. Do you see this dividend right here? Nope, I said it wrong. You see this quotient right here? This is our trinomial. Trinomial. Okay? I want to factor that one more time. So I have my original factor of x plus 4. I'm going to grab my quotient, x squared minus 5x plus 6. And I'm going to factor one more time. I have my original factor. Can't forget the original factor. And I'm going to factor this trinomial into two smaller factors. We know that x times x equals the x squared. The two factors of 6 is either 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. I'm going to pick 2 times 3 because it will add to negative 5. So negative 2 with negative 3 multiplies to a positive 6 but adds to a negative 5. If I do the guess and check, it works. Okay? Yes. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. It does it up to negative 5x. It works. So therefore, here's our factors, and we can write it down here. So x plus 4 was the given one, was given to us. And then we got an x minus 2, quantity of x minus 2, and quantity of x minus 3. There we go. We factored completely. That's why division, the long division, helps us. It takes a big polynomial, okay, to the third power polynomial, cubic, and we break it down to a squared trinomial, and then we break it down, factor it. Okay, break it down is not the right word. It's not the mathematical word, but we're factoring it down until we get to the smaller factors of the polynomial. All right, I want you to try the next one, but I'm going to get started for you because it's hard, okay? So let's read the example. Let's read what is given to us. Given 1, 0. What the heck does that mean? Given 1, 0, factor and sketch the polynomial function, label the x and the y intercepts. So pretty much, guys, this is the last objective. I'm putting together everything I learned from 3.1 all the way to 3.6b. Okay? All right. So what does 0 means? I'm going to use my bigger paper over here to talk about it. All right. The word 0, we talked about this, is the same thing as the word root. We're going to use those same words, which is the same thing as what? X-intercept. So I gave you, given 1, 0, given 1 root, given 1 x-intercept, finish the factoring completely this polynomial. So here is the root. This 3 right here is the root, is the 0. So that means that is the x-intercept. I'm going to put it right here on my drawing, on my sketch. 1, 2, 3, 3. Right here. So that is one of the x-intercepts. Take a look at the function. I'm going to write it over here. It's f of x is 2x cubed minus x squared minus 13x minus 6. Remember in objective 1, we looked at the degree, so we know the degree is 3. So it's an odd function. Look at the leading coefficient. It's positive. So I know that this is going to be a coming from negative infinity and ending up at positive infinity. That's the end behavior. It's going to be this kind of function. I know that it's going to somehow cross over here or maybe bounce. I don't know, but somehow it's going to touch that 3 right there. That's one of the factors. So I'm sorry, that's one of the x-intercepts. So if I know is one of the x-intercepts, I know that x equals 3 is one of the x-intercepts. So I can go ahead and switch it into a factor and say x minus a 3. So that is one of the factors. This is the factor. All right? From the factor, we are working backwards. If that is my x-intercept, I wrote it this way, then I know that this is the factor. If you solve this factor, set it equal to 0, you're going to work backwards. You're going to get to the same thing here. So now I know that the factor is x minus a 3 from my given x-intercept. So you can set up your division of 2x cubed minus x squared minus 13x minus 6. You can set that up. What you're looking for is the trinomial up here. Okay, you're looking for your trinomial. Let me put a hint right here. You're looking for the trinomial. Just like your previous example up here, we got a trinomial and then we factor one more time and we got our 3 factors. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're trying to factor completely. I want to get my 3 factors, the x minus 3, and then hopefully there's 2 more, and then I'll be able to sketch our graph. Okay, so that's my hints. That's all of my hints for you. I want you to try this question. Let me write you, because then when I come to class, I will know we can continue from here. So I want you to try this, completely factor, see if you can sketch it perfectly, this polynomial. And there you go. Good luck on this last little part, is putting all together. You guys are the best. See you later.